Hey y'all, in case you don't know me, I'm Digger, X8X, and I love weed. I found the best cannabis is THCa, low delta 9 weed. And why is it the best? Why is it the best? Simply because it has to be grown in such a situation and under such circumstances that THCa is at a high level, and that THC delta 9 THC is less than zero point 0.3 to be federally legal in the United States of America. The state's legalities aren't going to tell you about this. The people at the dispensaries aren't going to tell you about this. The people who sell weed illegally, well, it's kind of a gray area, to be honest. But at the gas station or the smoke shop or whatever, that's not a state regulated dispensary, they could be selling you anything. But the thing about the low THCa or the high THCa, I mistakenly spoke. The high THCa, low delta 9 THC is also tested. It's all tested. It doesn't come out of some crazy situation or whatever. You don't know where it come from, some back alley. you know these are probably the most skilled growers growing under the most strict circumstances to produce. Well, let me explain how the difference. There's THC, right? Everybody's heard THC, right? Does THC get you high? Well, THC is an umbrella term because there's two different forms of THC. There's THCa, which grows naturally in the plant. And then there's delta 9 THC, which is decarbed THCa. You see what I mean? You have this umbrella up here calling THC, okay? And that's an umbrella term for both the other offshoots, THCa and delta 9 THC. You see? It's like a family tree. All right. I know it's going to have to sink in. It's scientific, right? Basically, the plant only grows THCa. All right. If you eat the flower from the plant just as it is, you're not going to have any kind of effect necessarily, except nutritional. There's all kind of goodies in there, without even decarbing the THCa to turn it into delta 9 THC. And delta 9 is what we're used to for the cerebral psychological effects. Some people call it getting high. I would like to emphasize that, like other plants such as tomatoes and potatoes, come in different varieties. For example, you have little cherry tomatoes, and then you've got beefsteak tomatoes, and you have red tomatoes, and green tomatoes, orange and purple, and every color tomato. They're different varieties with different names. Still a tomato. It's the same thing with cannabis. See, cannabis has three main situations going on. The two are indica and sativa. Okay? And indica tends to make you a little sleepy. I avoid indica. The sativa tends to give you a nice focus, maybe a little inspiration. But it doesn't make you sleepy like the indica. And then you have these hybrids that are mixed in between, because it's really rare to find a purely indica variety or a purely sativa variety. Those are called land races, but we won't get into that. Let me think for a minute, because I haven't smoked today. The focus. I haven't smoked. But hold on. All right, we're back. The third component is CBD. There's they could probably be indica or sativa based, but these varieties are high in CBD and tend to be low in THCa, which by default would mean they're low in delta 9 THC. Because when you heat up THCa, that's how you decarb it. When you light it on fire or you cook it, that's how you turn it directly, and it turns directly into delta 9. So like, let's say you have 20% THCa, which is a nice, reasonable strength. You heat it up, it becomes 20% delta 9 THC. And that gives you all those rewards and qualities that are so wonderful when you decarb the THCa. Now back to that CBD thing. Those are known as like I don't know. Sometimes they're saying they're medicinal, but those are more so your industrial hemp type. They're growing them for fiber or seed or whatever. Some people, yeah, they take the CBD strains for like seizures and stuff, the medicinal. But what you need to know about that is basically those strains, they could be indica or sativa, okay? But they're high CBD, and by default, for some reason, it's like a teeter-totter. If you're high CBD, you're low THCa. If you are high THCa, you're low CBD. That's just typically how it tends to work. So that's basically the breakdown. And by the way, if you're a gardener, and I'm calling these things varieties, in the world of weed, cannabis, they call it strains. They call varieties strains. I don't totally understand that, but it's cool because when you're in a search engine and you're typing for something, you're looking for a certain variety, aka strain, you put in this strain, right? When it says strain, you could have a variety of flower or tomato or potato named the same name as a weed strain, cannabis strain, but if you put variety after it, you're going to pull up those other plants. But if you put strain after it, it's just going to be cannabis related. So that's basically everything in a nutshell. Intermission. My bestie. Back to business. Okay, so yeah, I do have a business. X8X Laboratory Inc. It is a real incorporation. I am really in business. My mission is basically producing and selling agricultural products, including plants, which would include naturally all parts of the plant. When it comes to cannabis, okay, I have a bit of experience, to put it mildly, and I'm a bit of a naturalist. I like the flower. I don't so much like like they have these diamonds things coming out. They've got a lot of hash and rosin and moon rocks and all this. I'm a bit of a naturalist. Okay, I like the flower. Okay, and now back to the high THCa flower. That is my favorite, and for all the reasons I've told you about, it's lab tested. It's not coming out of some weird situation. You don't know where it came from, how they grew it. It is legal on the federal level. Okay, this is something we really need to talk about, and I'm gonna put one link in the description for a cannabis industry lawyer. He explains things really well. He's got a buddy who's really connected in the industry, and they break it down really well. And if you go into his channel, okay, you can find other videos on it. But I'm just gonna link one of his videos to explain it from a lawyer's point of view. He does a really great job and makes it simple. But from my point of view, this weed has to be grown very precisely to make sure it's none of that THCa decarbs into delta 9 THC, because the legal rule, according to the Farm Act of 2018, this has been legal since 2018. That's a number of years, but that has definitely been kept on the low, so we don't know. Okay, now you know. And you're welcome, and you can shop for THCa cannabis using my link to get a 10% discount. Link in the description. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, I have a little experience. I just want to let you know, I want you to have the best cannabis possible and the best cannabis experience possible. And I want to take all the bad and the paranoia away from this beautiful and sacred plant. Get it to you so we can enjoy it as we were meant to. So anyway, it's legal, okay? What they did was they're calling it hemp, okay? We have all these things we call it. We call it weed, pot, marijuana, hemp, okay? Now, it's important to know that right now, the 2018 Farm Bill defines hemp as legally, federally legal in the United States of America. You can have it, you can possess it. The key is this weed has to be, like I said, manufactured precisely, and it has to have low, under 0.3 delta 9 THC. Well, you say, well, if a plant doesn't grow delta 9 THC, well, a lot of the plants, a lot of the flower you see in a dispensary may actually be technically hemp according to this law, because it may be high THCa and low delta 9 because it's been handled good. Or if it's been mishandled, if it's been not too close to the lights, or just sitting around in a truck in a hot place for a while, or whatever other crazy shit can happen, you might have the flower may develop and decarb into a higher than 0.3 delta 9 THC. And at that point, if you eat that flower like that, you will have the psychological effects. But when grown, not decarbed at all, handled really well, high THC, I'm telling you, is the highest quality flower available, is what this Farm Bill 2018 basically created a legal loophole where you don't have to participate in the states and their politics and their racial issues and their money grabbing and all of that. Okay? A legal loophole where everybody can engage in the practice of cherishing and loving cannabis. So anyway, marijuana is something I recognize as a slang term. I don't really see a lot of urban definitions and slang to be a respectable or part of the language. I don't even, when someone says marijuana, which that's like literally what they're selling at the dispensaries, marijuana, that's a slang term. I don't even recognize that as a word. What is marijuana? I don't know what that is. I know what cannabis is. That's a Latin name for the plant, the official name for the plant. Sativa, indica, I know what that is. I don't know what marijuana is. And frankly, right now, either does the federal government until the end, all the way up through the end of 2024. Because this Farm Bill of 2018 is good. They left it sit until the end, all through 2024. So we have a whole year to vote with our dollars and invest in high THC, low delta 9 hemp. And hemp is kind of a recognized cannabis definition. So we have some games going on. But if you don't want to play the games, because if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, just go the free route. I want you to use my link in the description below to get 10% off of the highest quality cannabis flower you will encounter in your life so far. Okay? So, link in the description. It's to one of my, I guess you could call the retail side of one of my business contacts. And this is a company that does really good business. I shop on the retail side of it when I want to. Okay? I shop there. And this stuff will come delivered to you, legally delivered through the post office to your house. To you. No problems. No problems. You don't have to drive to the dispensary, deal with the employees that think they're so cool because they work there and they want to just act stupid because they think they're OG and they don't have a clue. You don't have to deal with any of that. You just get the best deal. It's better prices, more generous, delivered right to you. No games, no politics, free. Setting cannabis free. It's beautiful. Now, if you watch this far, let's check out my plants. Right, this is the first year my house has been warm enough and I got my high pressure sodium light hooked up real good. It ain't gonna fall. It's grounded. It's on chains. And I got some seeds starting here. These are the late bloomers. These are the ones that already popped off. These are Gelato Fire strain or variety. And I found this in flower bags that I got at a local dispensary. Gelato Fire. And this one, this is a regrow. I mean, she's definitely feminine. But these are like, this is like what happens when she goes to bud and full maturity and you try and get her to go back into a vegetative state. I don't know. You know, it's taken a while. Temperature issues. Sometimes it's only like 50 degrees over here. Right now, it's about 70 because it's warmer in the house. This is what I have growing on. And this all grew over here. These germinated because I kept them. These germinated because I kept them up by the light, like these are. And the rest of the house might have been like 45 degrees. Might have been 32. Pretty cool. Use the link in the description. It's totally legit. I've used it at least 3 times myself to shop there. You'll enjoy it. You're welcome. Take care.